back to Now TV Canada. I am just on YouTube channel. I am your host, Jen. So as promised, finally getting to the point of my Montana's coffee plug, which I still have to email them. But here on my vocal page, you can see vocal.media authors slash Jennifer-Cooley. So you can go there. You see I have topped pinned stories. These are articles and poems I wrote for Right to Food Sign issues before the funding for it came to an end. I'm still hoping to pick it up and get it going again within Future Productions and Cape. But I wanted to read The Great Debate, Coffee or Tea, Tea or Coffee, because people are still having issues about being Christian and going to church and the food we consume and what God's saying and means in the Bible. Like Abraham was known in history to have gotten a little tipsy on wine. Noah was known historically in the Bible after the flood that the first thing he did was grow a vineyard. And as soon as he could, he made wine and he drank. And Jesus was noted using wine in celebration and say that he would come again. And in that time, we would rejoice with him. And God is clear about only people he specifically sets aside for himself, where he requires them and instructs them to not touch anything, to refrain from it all for that purpose. Those are the only people, but that the rest can do things within moderation if you have the self-control. If it's an issue, obviously, then the answer, like everything else, gambling, drugs, alcohol, abstain because you have no sense of moderation. So with coffee and tea, there was health issues where there was no medications or other options, and what the benefits are from these were some of the only forms of medicine that our doctors could give to people with those conditions. Asthma, headaches, certain kinds of gut discomfort issues. Those are just some of them. So what I've written here, a much needed, well-researched and well-rounded article for the spring issue of the Right to Food Sign. For those of us that depend on one or both of these wonderful hot items to drink in order to make life, for so many of us, all a little more sustainable on this earth while we are living our own special journeys. I hope it helps because after all the research and learning I've done, I can testify that it has personally made a difference for me, and I'm so glad I've written it. Because obviously after doing the research, I realized I had to put my mouth where my money is, my money where my mouth is. So I had to change my life and try out following the rules of the research I did myself. And I really saw a difference in learning how to add more tea into my life and balancing the reality of noticing that when we are consuming coffee and eating chocolate, we are adding more caffeine into our daily intake overall, and that makes a difference on our equilibrium of everything. So we have to be mindful about the amount we're consuming throughout a day, which includes the stuff that caffeine is in, like foods, like chocolate. So the great debate, coffee or tea, tea or coffee. I'm still trying to get over a throat thing, so I'm sorry if it goes a little wonky. One of our many centuries oldest, most loved debates on which one is best. Tea was first recorded in history books, harvested back in 2700 BCE. But as we know, life on Earth has been around far longer than that. So likely these plants have a larger history than we can imagine. But for here and now, I will use the information found in the books. So on that note, coffee was discovered in the 10th century. Now add to that time all the sugar and milk and cream that's been added to our cups for those of us who simply just can't do black or straight and constantly forget to look to honey for an alternative solution. And what do we get? A lot of information we should have probably taken into a much stronger account of sooner and adjusted in our coffee and tea drinking lifestyles. Today we are seeing publications on how excessive sugar consumption can lead to impaired memory, linking it to increased risk of dementia. This made me realize it was time to write something about it for everyone. We need to choose wisely what we eat and drink if we want to be strong and healthy and live longer and have much better lives. To start, I would like to tell you all a little something good that few people probably know about how to drink your delicious hot beverage and enjoy it better. That is what we drink our tea and coffee from, and how we make it and the water we use. I will use tea for this example. If you use a styrofoam cup, it reduces the flavor molecules, which ruins the tastiness of your tea. Colors of the mug in which you drink from, red versus white, etc., affects our brain's reaction to what we are tasting and experiencing. Red mugs equal us experiencing the taste of sweeter tea, meaning it adds to the ripeness and sweetness of it for us. Sorry, I gotta look for my coffee. I'm still drinking my first cup. I got that tickle. Many people have hard water from their taps and water system, and even the kettles we use, depending on the age of it and use and time water spent sitting in them before each deep cleaning treatment. And well, this is a recipe for disaster, as it can and usually does cause a gooey little film to take over the top of your cups. Once you've stopped stirring and let your hot drink sit and cool while you sip away slowly at it, the result is a hard water effect and ick. None of us can enjoy drinking what's in our cups when we are looking down at that. Oh, I'm so bad on that. Like, I will dump cup and cup and cup out and just keep trying and buy new machines. It's just really bad on all of that hard water effect stuff. I'm so big on not drinking that stuff. I like Brita filtered water. Anyways, so it is recommended that if one can filter their water first before boiling, this will help to eliminate such a result, so that we can go right on enjoying our cup many minutes after we've poured and stirred it. Steep time. Herein lies our problem. Who in the world, dying to take that first sip of their delicious hot drink, actually wants to wait the appropriate time before drinking their cup of heaven? Well, whether you choose to listen to my advice or not, at least I've done the honors of respecting the tea itself for the time it needs by telling all of you, and then you do you and see which kind of cup you end up with. The perfect steep time for a wonderful black tea is actually about 4 to 5 minutes. If you are not drinking a caffeine tea, then you can steep your bag for about 2 to 3 minutes to get its full effect. And in both cases, if you wait, you are promised to get a fuller, stronger flavor tea from each bag used. Well, at least we know now where the use and trend of using 2 tea bags at once stems from. I mean, who really wants to have to reheat their tea in the microwave again just to save on tea bag use and full flavor effect? So take your pick. You decide. So in order to hasten the effects of the stronger tea you're looking for, you use 2 tea bags while your water is still hot, so you can enjoy your tea sooner. Whereas if you use 1 tea bag and you wait that 4 or 5 minutes to get the same effect as 2 tea bags gives you, you're going to have to reheat your tea or drink it when it's too cool, unless you have your tea boiled at such a hot level that 4 or 5 minutes later it's just beginning to be sippable, which I don't think most of us boil our water to that point. As for me, I will confess that I personally am a 2-bag tea drinker indeed. I like my full flavor and best benefits right away when it's one of those days, or me coming down from one of those days. The last thing I want to do is sit there and wait. I personally don't want to have a 5-minute conversation with my cup of tea when I'm really needing that first sip, and then those few glorious gulps after, identifying that it is now safe to drink larger amounts without burning my tongue off. But that's just me. On the other hand, I do have a wonderful friend I love dearly who is completely the opposite of me. She will use the same tea bag and just keep it in her cup and keep adding hot water and thinks it still tastes good as it did when it was brand new 2 to 3 cups of tea later. So her example really does teach us that with a little more patience, we can get a bit more bang for our buck. So the question now that is left to be asked is, which kind of tea drinker are you? In short, if you are not brewing or steeping your tea properly, then you are not getting all the nutrients and benefits of what comes with drinking your tea, meaning that drinking tea may not be so much less complicated and easier to make and drink than coffee as we may have all thought it was. So, to end my recent journey in exploring the answers to tea and how to enjoy it to its fullest, I will tell you that the best temperature for the tea to be boiled and steeped at is 175 to 180 degrees. Anything above 200 degrees Fahrenheit can actually destroy the beneficial nutrients of tea. Not so easy compared to coffee now, is it? Okay, switching now, it's coffee's turn. I will start with the obvious, of course, that if we misuse our coffee, it will become our enemy number one of quality sleep and a few other things. You see, our circadian rhythm functions off of a regular 24-hour pattern. Cortisol, the stress hormone, helps you get up and stay awake for the day, while melatonin, the sleep hormone, eases you into sleep and keeps you sleeping throughout the night. So 4 cups of coffee a day should be one's upper limit because our daily maximum amount of caffeine from coffee should be no more than 400 milligrams. However, that being said, we are essentially safer to leave it at 3 cups because of our other daily intake of things. We really should save about 100 milligrams for those other caffeine and sugar products like pop and foods we eat that we don't usually plan on having. You know, that irresistible can of Pepsi that comes with the sale of the cheese dog with the works you ordered on a whim from a hot dog vendor during your lunch break instead of eating the lunch you made. Or the chocolate you found on sale at a store you dropped into for a few items on your way home for the day. Caffeine works by blocking adenosine to help keep us from getting sleepy. Then the adenosine buildup once caffeine wears off will make you sleepy, causing those oh so famous caffeine crashes that many of us know too well. You see, coffee has 2 to 3 times more caffeine in it than tea does. So if we don't learn how to use it and when, then we are likely going to continue to face the repercussions and complications that come with drinking coffee wrong. The best time of day to begin drinking coffee for you coffee lovers out there is not first thing in the morning, right when you wake up. I mean, come on, confess. How many people love their coffee so much that they actually have their coffee maker set to the time of when their first morning alarm goes off so that coffee is ready to pour by the time you get down to the kitchen for that first cup of the day? Well, that is actually the right time to use decaf coffee first if we really must have that first early morning coffee of the day to get us going, as I'm certain so many of you do. But the reality is, back to our 24-hour hormone release pattern, you need to wait for about 1 to 2 hours after waking up, which of course means many of you will already be at work by then. And I know that's a very big difference from that first cup in the morning at home, alone, still in your PJs, with messy hair. Wonderful experience. But if we ingest that big gulp of caffeine anytime before that, you're actually being counterproductive to the purpose and the need of the cortisol in your body taking its full effect. And this, my friends, answers the mystery to why so many people suffer from those caffeine crashes right in the middle of our morning or day at work and find ourselves wanting to lay our heads down on our desk in front of us just for a few minutes. Sigh. This now leads us to what the best ways of drinking and using both coffee and tea are. The answer, I'm afraid, is not something new, just something many of us don't like the thought of, much less the taste. But the best way to benefit fully from both coffee and tea is to, of course, drink both of them black. The bonus here for black coffee and tea drinkers is that it won't affect those of you who do enjoy intermittent fasting in the mornings. It will actually help curb your hunger and aid in weight loss. Oh, see, sorry guys, my throat. Oh, okay. Closing arguments. Sensitive or not to caffeine, whether for coffee or tea, what is the solution? On the flip side of this whole thing, there are, of course, those of you who are sensitive to caffeine, and that's where what time you start drinking coffee and tea and what time you end drinking caffeine will vary a bit between coffee and tea drinkers. But I will just give a general frame, safe for everyone to follow for the sake of time and space of this article. However, for those of you who simply cannot tolerate coffee or the effects of the caffeine from it and are straight up loyal tea drinkers, congratulations. Pat yourself on the back, because these rules on how to balance your life with both simply will not apply the same, and you only need to concentrate on your one and only tea drinking love and the amount of trips you are willing to make to the bathroom throughout the day for the sake of your guilty pleasure and habit, and how much of it you want to drink in a day, as in your water intake. But the hours recommended here and how to start and end your day are pretty much measurably the same. Try waiting until 9 a.m. before having your first cup of strong caffeine drinking products to begin your day. 2. One's last cup of coffee should be around no later than 4 p.m. For those sensitive ones, you know yourself best. So you decide what time you need to quit coffee in order to be able to relax and still go to sleep at night. Maybe a few of you need to stop at 1 or 2 p.m., but generally we are all pretty safe in having no problems in relaxing and coming down for the day and being able to fall asleep and get a good night's rest if we stop our caffeine intake by the noted time here, basically dinner time, right? Stay active is the third one. Keep fit, get fresh air, go for nice walks, or keep a modest workout at the gym type of routine, and you should be good to go. The answer in the end about the great debate of both and which one to drink, well, quite simply, it is the obvious one. Since the recorded use of both back in the 2nd and 10th centuries, we should actually be drinking the right amount of both. In doing this, we will be able to get all the right benefits that they have to help in our well-being and maximize all of our health needs. The recommended amount of tea one should be drinking is about 3 cups a day if you are just drinking tea, whether it has caffeine in it or not. So if you take into account your coffee drinking for the day and your caffeine intake with food and drinks, you can measure what type of tea you need and at what time you need, whether it's herbal, caffeine, or caffeine-free. Still have tea in your system because your body needs the healthy benefits it has, but you just keep track of the content of the caffeine in the tea so you know which tea to drink, like the kind I need for my throat right now. This all comes down to retraining our brains to learn how to rethink and practice our use and thoughts of both in order to truly get this whole tea and coffee war in our lives to finally be over and balance right. Now, my research shows that black tea has about 50 milligrams of caffeine in it at full steep, and green tea has about 25 milligrams of it at full steep. So if we started our mornings off with a black tea instead of coffee, which a 6-ounce cup has between 75 to 100 milligrams of caffeine in it, we would avoid those midday caffeine crashes altogether and have an overall better day, remain alert, feel rested, and able to concentrate on our tasks and get our work done for that day and still have a nice, calming, soothing way to start off our mornings while at home in our PJs before work. And if we drink our green tea or calming and medicinal herbal teas in the evening after 4, when we have stopped drinking coffee for the day, we will be helping our digestive system during meal times with less indigestion and complications with heartburn, digestion, and so on, leading to a smoother and much more relaxing evening ahead. Yes, it may mean a few more trips to the bathroom overall for the day, but I promise you, your guts will love you because things in the bathroom will work better than they ever have before. And as for our memory improvement skills, as we live and age in life, it will probably be near the end of the day, just before bedtime, or when you are in bed itself, that you are feeling the full beneficial effects of your new tea drinking habits. When you now find yourself remembering more things throughout the day as you look back over them and think through all that you did and notice that you are not forgetting stuff like you used to when you were drinking more coffee. So whether you are a student in school always doing homework and cramming for tests while juggling a job, or well into your workforce years, you will see an improved work performance and overall better lifestyle change. Now, young or old, how can any of us go wrong with that? As for those select lucky few who can drink coffee or tea any time of the day and night and not have any problems with your washroom trips, activities, any to your daily functions, right up until you go to bed and snuggle in under the blankets, still fall fast asleep for the night. If only there was a way you could give all the rest of us some of your magical body chemical chemistry so that everyone could have it made like that. So good luck. Go on with whatever it is you're doing that's right for you, basically. So thank you for reading and coming along with me on my tea and coffee journey. Enjoy the rest of the end of this 2025 year, because this was like published in 2023, post pandemic, and then to your 2026 year ahead. So I wanted to share that with the value of how much I enjoy Montana and how much I recommend people buy Montana and learn how to balance your tea in there so that you can still enjoy your sweets with your chocolate and your impulse shopping stuff that has caffeine in it so that you regulate all of that. I will link all of that stuff to the video below. I wanted to get this done before my friend comes over and we bake other stuff. And there's noise and talking going on in the background. So I'm glad I got that done. I'm going to go check on the rising loaf of Robin Hood flour bread and see where things are at. Thanks for watching Now TV Canada and what's happening now from my kitchen to yours. Bye.